But for right now, let's get back to, we're putting the belt back together. We've got to get these two pulley halves apart. Now the way you do that, I can say the girls are going to be unhappy here. You put a rag on top. You grab it with both hands and you're going to squeeze it and twist it. You're going to squeeze and twist, you're going to hold, and you're going to grab it again, and you're going to squeeze it. It takes about 3 tries. 1, 2, 3. So I'm holding it. Now at this point, you grab the belt, make sure it's oriented properly so that you can read it on top. And actually,
you did this wrong.
You put the belt around first.
Sometimes you can put it the head first.
Yeah. So let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. And then just take the belt and push it in.
So are
So
you
you
saying we're
spread
not
this
going to
out.
like this because we don't have good grip strength?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
It takes some muscle.
Okay.
We'll
You can do it.
I'm a hefty girl. I can do this.
So that way the belt is long enough that you can get the front pulley back. Otherwise you won't. It's too short.
So see, you can read it on top. And I'm just going to set it on.
And you put it back
I just find
together.
some kid in the neighborhood, be like, hey, come here.
Put a little. Okay.
I'm not going to worry about it. You're fine. You're greasy. I got my hands are dirty. So we're back together. At this point, you need to make sure that the little thin 1mm washer is on to separate these. And just set it back on.
The 1mm washer goes behind it?
Yeah. Between the bushing and the bottom of that.
Pull it off again.
It goes in there.
Got it.
In fact, there it is.
Can that be put on backwards?
The washer?
Yeah. There's not a
No, you won't put it
groove on one
back.
side or the other? Okay.
Is that a replacement part as well? Or does that all come as part of the Variator?
The fan is separate from the Variator.
Okay.
A Polini Variator, like a couple $100. J. Costa, near 3.
Yeah.
That Variator is about $70.
Okay.
It lasts 5 times longer.
Yeah.
And with the pulley weights inside, you have almost identical performance. That just ends up being the best way to go. So at this point in time, we're ready to torque the Variator back down. And
we got enough time to that experience and that we know what is good, what works best. That's what you're here for, to find out what is the easiest way and what works best. If there's something that works good, we let you know. If there's something shit, we talk about it too, because, you know.
do you want to go call the pizza place and order pies?
Yes.
You order pies and we'll leave in 15 minutes.
Or them will go over there.
Yeah, give them a call, let them start cooking, and then we'll break in a few minutes, okay?
I got to walk over there.
You don't know their phone number?
No.
Okay,
That's okay.
Who's got a smartphone?
Yeah, we can probably look it up.
well, you know what?
Pretty sure between everybody in this room.
Let's go ahead.
Come on, Jess.
And
Jesse.
get this button back
What are we
on.
looking for? Mountain bikes or round
I don't know, ask him.
No, it's the one that's right around the corner.
Oh, round table supply safely?
No, we're walking over to the liquor store. There's a pizza place right there.
What's it called?
What is the name of that place?
You can't search a pizza place around the corner. Well, you can.
Well, what street?
I said, well, you can't
Pick a
find it.
street.
Well, you could just search for
Come on,
pizza.
it's a challenge.
And use the GPS and figure out what the nearest one was.
There you go.
I knew you'd get it.
I know.
Jackie Boy's
It's easy.
Pizza and I
That's
got
like somebody moving
Jackie
places, someone
Boys.
just says, you know, exactly.
All right, I'm impressed.
Hey, is everybody down with like a couple of combos and a pepperoni?
Sure.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Order
I didn't hear
two
any-
large,
No anchovies, please.
two large
Combos.
combos and one
Large pepperoni.
pepperoni, and tell them to come over with 15 people.
Okay, sounds good.
At this point, we put the Variator back on. The belt's in, the fan's on. You put these
If
two
he wants
washers
a
on.
credit card,
This is
somebody
different
has
than
to-
a GT.
Okay.
This is a GTS.
Right.
It has, you can use the same nut again and again and again. On the GT, it has a single-use nut.
Oh.
And Rolfie had one over here. So
That was one that was attached to the belt?
this is a single-use nut. Okay, I'm going to pass that around. It has a cupped washer built into it. So you use it one time, and you basically destroyed it.
If if the Piaggio says replace the nut, if the nut looks good, I reuse it. I never had an issue yet, so.
Will it be obvious if it's,
If it is bad, like when you take it apart and the washer falls off, which comes with it, replace it. Otherwise,
See how it's cupped? It flattens out when you put it on.
okay, so if it's
So-
flat or if it comes off?
if it comes off and it still looks like this one,
Okay.
That was the one that came on the
And then
belt?
another question,
That was the nut
at
that
what
came with the
point-
belt?
what point of
I
wear
put
do
it
you
on there
replace the
so I
belt?
know what it was.
Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
Like, do you just automatically
You
replace it at
Never
a certain
replace a belt
point,
because
or-
of wear, because they don't wear.
Okay,
They give a measurement, a width measurement
right,
for determining if a belt is within spec or not.
okay,
It will have been dead 5 years before it wears that much.
okay,
It's like a clock is ticking on your belt, and your belt can look just fine, and it can be at the end of its life.
okay.
That's why every time I pull a belt off, I wrap tape around it and put a number on it. How many miles does this have? And it's not entirely a function of miles and time.
Okay.
It's also a function of heat. How much heat has it taken? You can ride on a cannonball and you can blow a belt out. I've done it in 2,200 miles. Brand new belt,
Yeah.
gone. I've also gone 12 or 13,000 on a belt that came out, looked just fine
Yeah,
around here commuting.
okay.
What kills belts is hours at a time of long, vicious heat cycles.
heat is what kills them.
Yeah,
Like going
and
through
and you never really know.
hotter than hell.
That's why
Sacramento.
what you do is you change your belt at 8 or 10,000, whatever you want. You use the old one as a spare.
Okay,
You have the tools on the bike,
right,
so no matter where you are, you can
you
fix it.
have one, okay.
I've had one of these on a hot day melt down on me. It was 24 minutes on the side of the freeway. It took me to change the belt and variator out. So it's not that big a deal. We're pontificating.
Completely different experience.
You carry torque.
So put Rich on your speed dial.
Yes,
on your
exactly.
cell
If
phone.
you're in the area.
It was 105 degrees out.
Yeah.
And
You're
the thing
motivated.
cooked. And so I take it apart, and everything's clicking hot.
Oh, geez.
So it's not like I could take a bunch of time. I had to put it back together. You know?
Yeah, hotter than hell. Sacramento.
This is GTS.
Carry torque wrench with you?
I do.
Okay.
This is the torque wrench
Or-
I carry with
No,
me.
no, it was a different.
Well, we
under
still
my
have a
seat,
few
disappears.
minutes for the cover. What's the cover?
Okay. The reason my bike exploded was because inside here, there's a little foam filter that
Yeah.
Rolfie always removes.
I remove it.
Clean it.
The only way to leave that foam filter in is if you do some off-roading. Otherwise, take it out, put it someplace, forget about it. The reason for it is a filter, is a piece of foam.
Yep.
And what it stops is it's supposed to stop the breeze to go in the fan, because the fan is the one who sucks the air and transfers the air, not just by flow. That's the reason the belts have these different variations on the outside and
ridges.
on the inside. That is to transfer air along with it for cooling.
Air comes in
So
here,
in the moment,
comes out over here.
it comes out over here. There's the outlet, here's the inlet. So what I've been thinking about it is, I talked to Jess about it, is if there can be a design to make this a little bigger.
Oh, to let more air in, keep it cooler.
Patrick's working on
That
that.
is what the whole story is.
Is that
You
plastic?
in the moment you remove the foam, you get a totally different airflow.
Yeah.
I can
That is
guarantee,
what kills the belts.
I can guarantee I can go out to your bikes that are out there, and half of them
Is
will
that
have
is
this filter
full of
plugged
shit.
almost
And see, and I
50%.
clean mine faithfully.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
a
but you
lot of
understand,
people
we pull
don't
the
even
cover off,
know
there's
it's
crap
there.
in
Yeah, I've got leaves, I've got
When I
bugs.
destroyed that Variator that one time, it was a ride from Seattle home. And I made it all the way to Walnut Creek on a 100-degree day. And then everything inside melted.
Yeah.
And then the belt went.
So the
And when I pulled that filter out, it was 80% occluded.
Yeah.
It was like a bird's nest in there. And I'd only had it, it'd only been like 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you take it out, doesn't all that crap get inside? No?
Don't worry about it.
It's
If
gonna
it goes in,
blow
it
through
breaks up.
comes
No,
back
right
out
out?
of it.
Okay.
It's leaves or maybe,
Yeah.
you will
Bugs.
never know.
Yeah, so that's what I
Dust.
got, leaves and
So-
bugs.
Ralph,
But it's
to
not
get the
gonna
foam filter
negatively
out?
impact anything.
You
Okay.
know,
You
I
just
removed
take that little
mine,
cover
cannonball.
off.
Oh, just that part,
Yeah.
not
Ralph?
the whole transmission.
Can I
Another
see?
3,000 miles on
It's
it.
screws, you just take
Just
these
take those
off,
two
That's the
off.
and
first
then
thing I did
it's
too
like,
when I rode Cannonball.
it feels almost like a
Just take it
plasticky
right
kind
out.
of
Yeah, no, I know
When
what
I
you're
go
saying.
Cannonball, I
Or
just
just
had
foam.
some
Yeah.
screws.
And if you just want to clean it, do you
Just
clean the
these two
foam and put
screws
it
that
back in? Or
pops
do
off.
you buy new?
You can, or he's saying just constantly.
Okay, it's also, yeah.
Okay, lunchtime is coming up. When I rode Cannonball, the only thing I had to change, this behalf, I had to work on my scooter. I changed the front tire to the rear.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
But-
3,000 miles of the way I liked, that wasn't much left on the rear.
But isn't the size?
So I had
different
the
in
same
one
size for
Oh.
Cannonball, I used the same size in the front that I had in the rear, so I switched.
no problem.
Drink more beer,
Drink more beer.
and people were
Spirit of
overhauling
Cannonball
motors and, oh man. Some of these people never got sleep.
Okay, so I talked about fasteners.
Yeah.
This is the GTS, comes with a plain nut and these two washers. The flat washer goes on first. The cupped washer goes on second. You want it to cup out, not in, because you want it.
What are those type of washers called?
Well, it's a spring washer,
Spring washer.
but it's a real heavy, durable spring washer.
Yeah.
It's like super thick.
But that just puts compression against the nut to
Yeah.
keep it from.
Right. It's like a lock washer.
Right.
So
It's instead of the one-time use nut on the GT200.
correct. So you just screw it down with your fingers, and at this point you have to choose a tool. And the tool I'm going to choose
Ninja.
is this one because I really like this one.
Which one do you use?
Ours.
Ours.
And I'll just show you how slick
Ours
this is.
works best, of course.
That's it.
But how did you end up with a spare fan to make that tool?
Well, they wear out.
Yeah, they were.
They
Fans
get,
wear
see,
out
see the
too?
grooves in the back of that fan?
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
How much drill a couple holes in an old pulley and you got the tool.
Ralphie, can I get a 3-inch extension? 3/8? You have an extension?
It's a function of
3/8?
how hard you ride it.
Yes.
If you ride it wide open throttle all the time, you'll wear a
is
groove
this
in the
long
top,
enough?
and your top speed will
How
because
long
you're
it
not because you're not varying
Too
speeds.
long is no good.
Describe as best we clever Moscato still.
So what's the range on that?
They can easily last 20,000 miles,
But they can go in 5 or 6 too.
like or half a cannonball.
The torque on these two, it's, I can give you a specific number, but 60-45. It's really like 54 to 58 or 59. I just go 60 and 45.
Make
That's at the high end of the scale. I've never had one come up. You know, it's
Newton meters or
important.
foot lamberts?
Huh?
Newton meters or foot lamberts? Either.
Foot-pounds.
Foot-pounds.
It's 75 Newton meters.
Yeah.
That's the way my torque wrench is in Newton meters.
So on this kind of torque
You
wrench,
can,
you just dial
whatever it
in.
is, you can convert. You just look it up on the computer and it can convert Newton meters to meter kilograms or foot pounds or whatever it calls for. So.
Is that consistent across multiple scooter models, or is that specific to the GTS? That torque level, is that specific to the GTS, or is it?
No, all the leader
Okay, just
motors
making
and
sure.
quasars. It goes up. It goes up for the bigger motors, the master motors and
Okay.
stuff. It's more. And I have no idea what it is for the
It's
the
80,
BD.
80 Newton meters. And that's
So-
the motors.
I'll dial this into 60.
I know who to call in case it comes apart, huh?
Right. You want to check it before you
I
get them?
got AMA and towing.
Okay, once you get a little pressure on it, everything kind of stays in where it belongs. I've dialed the torque wrench to 60 pounds, and then it's just simply a matter of compressing the spring washer. You got to run it around a few times, and then eventually this thing is going to click.
There it is.
I always go 3 times.
Flat, it's like-
If you'd like to, come up here and make this thing click. I'll get up and you can just try it, see what that feels like. No, seriously, give it a try.
Yeah,
Go and make
You know?
it, see what it feels like.
especially for me, yeah, because my strength would be different from yours. Okay, that's not bad.
No, it's not.
I was thinking.
Anyone care to put their hands on that and try it?
Just try it so you got an idea of it.
Okay, now it takes 2 hands. You know, I keep clicking it just because
Yeah, like
I
you
never
said.
want this to come apart ever.
Right, and I don't
Go.
blame you.
Lisa.
I double and triple check to make sure I put all of the stuff together.
Yeah!
Okay. Okay.
That was simple.
So Rich, so if I've got a whole snap on the needle,
Yeah.
Push.
probably.
Yeah, just go.
Just go, okay.
Try to make it
It's still reliable enough
more,
that it shouldn't go.
when you do it on make,
Yeah.
Doesn't yours doesn't
Make it
put
even.
like insert?
Okay.
No, it's got a needle.
You know what? We're
Oh,
going to get
I
ready to go to lunch here,
gauge, yeah.
but I just want to spend 60 seconds and explain why it's absolutely imperative that you use a torque wrench and not an impact gun.
You never get it on.
That crank is indexed side to side by the variator nut. If you don't have enough torque, there can be flex inside the crank, can move this way.
Yeah.
If you have it torqued way too hard, you're putting pressure on bearings that they were not designed to carry. Because you can take an impact gun like that, if you're a doofus at a shop,
You don't
easily
know
put 100
where-
pounds on. Or you cannot put enough weight on there to compress the spring washer. So, these guys say,
In which case
oh, well,
it'll come off.
right, yeah, if there's not enough torque, the nut can come off. That's bad.
That's really
Because
bad.
if that nut comes
I
off,
seen it.
then the inner race can start sliding out of the motor. And I've seen that happen. And when that happens,
Speed?
the oil filter, the oil pump chain breaks instantly. And then what comes next, that's really bad. But it comes out any further than your old valve train is compromised.
Yeah.
Because
so
that's
basically
chain
a
driven
new
too.
bike.
And then you get a new engine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
That's,
Okay, so we can go get pie. I gotta wash Ralph.
yeah, me too.
Does everyone feel good about the Variator?
Yes.
Okay.
You can think about